at the height of Frankfurt's heyday, I was extremely proud to say that I lived in Frankfurt. To be honest, these days I'm embarrassed to say that I live in Frankfurt. I was born in Frankfurt in 1941, grew up on Margaret Street between Torresdale Avenue and Dittman Street, which was called Crusen's Row at one time. Frame houses went all the way back. There was nothing there when my grandfather was born and raised in that house except cow pastures. I grew up all through the 40s, the 50s, and was only away from the area for a short time while I was in the service. And after my tour was up, I came back, got married, and still live in the area, although not the same house. What made me proud about Frankfurt in the years that I grew up here was the fact that people cared about their neighborhood. They cared about each other. You didn't have to go halfway across the country to see your aunts or uncles or grandparents. They were around the corner. They were in the next block. People kept the streets cleaned. We burned leaves in the fall, which you're no longer allowed to do. I can still smell that. It was a very diverse area. There were all kinds of ethnic groups, some larger, some smaller. A lot of people considered it a blue-collar neighborhood, but if you look around at some of the houses in here, there were professional people, wealthy people. I don't know if they were millionaires, but there were very wealthy people that did live in the area. There was a time when Frankfurt Avenue from Bridge Street all the way down to where it intersects with Kensington was the place to go to do your shopping. There was every kind of store you could conceivably want. You never had to go anywhere to do your Christmas shopping, your daily shopping. It was the place to go. People dressed up on Friday nights to go out onto Frankfurt Avenue. At one time, Philadelphia was called the workshop of the world. And I guess when they started to, when the country started to change and light industry started to be swallowed up by the big manufacturers, that's what happened to a lot of the small industries that were in the neighborhood. There were a lot of mom and pop stores too. I forgot to mention that earlier. All kinds, from shoemakers to ice cream parlors, you name it, they were here. I would like the mural to make me feel better about the area. I think if it was depicted the way I remember it, it would probably make me sad. I don't know what other people would expect to see. I don't believe there's the pride in the neighborhood that used to be here. I would like to see that come back. I don't know how that's accomplished. Some of the images that I'd like to see is maybe the diversity in the people that lived here. I can think of, you know, there was Irish, Scotch, English, there were Jews, there were Poles, there was even Russians way back then. There were Italians. It was really a pretty diverse area. There was black families, very minimal Asians, Latinos, but there were some here. So this neighborhood, if you grew up, you pretty much knew people of all kinds of ethnic groups. There are row homes, there are frame homes, there are big stone homes. There's all kinds of different architecture in the area. That might take a little thought, but I kind of would like to see that in a mural. Of course, the L is here. There are other things, like I can remember softball games being played down in Whitehall, all kinds, from church leagues to semi-pro. You know, there's all that kind of a history that went on. I can remember drum and bugle corps practicing on Harding Junior High School's field. There's also some light industry in the neighborhood. Most of that is gone. I might like to see a place like Horn and Hardart to be shown in the mural, that's famous for their automat, which again no longer exists. It's part of the history of so some historical information in the mural. It was just a great place to grow up. Like I said, there were there were 5 movie houses from Bridge Street to Kensington Avenue. Some of them were like old opera houses. The Circle Theater was like being in an old opera house. It was gorgeous inside. There were men's stores, women's stores, kids stores, shoe stores. You name it, they were here. Now all gone. And it kind of makes me sad. Frankford is depressing.